Welcome to Relationship Conversations from his and her point of view. I'm Lillian Hart, and I'm Wilkie today. We're talking about the infamous Facebook groups. Are we dating the same guy? Insert your city here. So I know for a fact that I've never been on this. Is that so? Because there's girls that tell guys when they've been on it, that's against girl code. Yeah, but you know what? Because you girls are all fake to each other behind each other's backs. You guys all defend each other behind your backs. But then you're also like, yeah, well, hey, just so you know, hey, I'm not supposed to be doing this to you. Malibu Mark, but let me just tell you you're on there just so you know. Yeah, Malibu Mark, my buddy Mark. Why don't we give an overview about what this group is in case there's anybody out there who really has no idea what we're talking about, guys out there. Oh, no. But all you women know. Yeah, exactly so. You know what? There are women who don't know there really are. I think that like I've told some of my married friends about it, and they didn't know difference, yeah. But if they end up divorced and are dating again, this is something they should know about. Yeah, let's pull for the divorce. I'm not saying that's fun. Have a crack at it, girls. You get a lot of money for go ahead. So what it is it's a Facebook group, and they are set up across the country. So you would find the group that is relevant to the city that you live in. From there, you have to answer a series of questions and agree to some rules, things like don't tell people that you're on it. You're not supposed to know screenshotting. Don't tell people also things when you're going to apply to join the group. You can't have a profile that is too new, like if you create your profile in the last 6 months and there's like nothing on it, they assume that's a man who is posing as a woman to try to get into the group because what if they're trans? It's okay. What if you transition? What if you need to make a new Facebook for the last 6 months? Well, you never know, you were trying to start a new life. You know what though? It's interesting because I'm not seeing really anything about trans relationships. No, it wouldn't be on there. Yeah, and obviously wouldn't have gay. You could be, are we dating the same guy? But guys aren't allowed in there. So, same one stupid girl thing. Yeah, well, I think there are a lot of pros, and there's also cons to it. I don't deny that. But the big one about the group is it's kind of like, what's the number one rule in Fight Club? We don't talk about Fight Club. Exactly. That's how the group is supposed to be. It's been around for a couple of years. I think everybody knows it exists. Everybody does. And like I said, you're in the dating era of your life. I've been dating. I did a lot of girls. I've never been posted in there. You know how I know I haven't been posted on there? Because everybody that I know that's on it has shown me the thing I've gone through scrolling with girls on this thing. I'm telling you right now, I've never been on it. My boy Malibu. He's been on it, knows, because there's like 4 or 5 girls a message. I'm saying, hey, Mark, just so you know, you're on it. It's like, what is he doing to get himself on it? So, for one, he even said he talked to the girl for one day, and at the end of it, it just didn't go anywhere. They'd had no plans to talk anymore. Just wasn't going to. The girl said, oh, this guy can't make commitments or whatever. I don't know the specifics of that. But I remember him telling me, I didn't even talk to that girl that long. I talked to her for one day. That's one of the examples for me of why it's a bad thing. Because you are making an assumption about somebody without learning about it yourself. Because how someone treats you is not necessarily the exact same way they're going to treat somebody else, because chances are maybe they just didn't vibe and it fizzled out, and that was the end of it, versus somebody who they've been talking for a couple of months, and then he became a jerk or something like that. That's a different type of story, and that's why I think whenever you're on that group, and maybe you're searching for a new guy that you're talking to, you really got to take everything with a grain of salt. I know there's another guy that was on there. I'll call him War Book. He was divorced, and he was on it. And the nicest guy in the world. He really is. And I guess the feedback on it was always a nice guy, no. So yeah, and there's positive things on there. But again, people put on there that, oh, well, he ghosted me. Oh, well, he did this. You may be ghosted too, just because they go. See, I don't necessarily think that's a problem, unfortunately. I hate ghosting, and I don't think people should do it, right? But it's what we live. It's the life we live these days. And it happens quite regularly. What happened with Libby? What do you mean? Then you ghost him, we ghosted each other, exactly. So it happens, right? Right, so my point is you say you ghost each other, right? Well, it didn't work out. You guys weren't talking, no one initiating. And I understand the man's supposed to initiate more, because generally they are, but here's the thing though, ghosting goes both ways. Well, I think in Libby's situation, we had a date, and I left that date thinking I'm never going to see this man again, and I never want to see this man again. And I thought to myself when I get home and he reaches out to me, I'm going to end it with him. But then you reach out like 6 months later, he did. But that's besides the point. The thing is, these people posted stuff on there like it's just a guy. Oh, this guy's bad because of this. And I've said this even about my divorce you only get 50% of the story and 100% bias. That's why I think you have to take everything with a grain of salt. So an example, don't do these stupid groups well. No, I think that we'll get into the well. I think the pros are in a few moments here. But I want to give an example of a time I was going to go out on a date with somebody. And then, quite honestly, anytime I'm about to go on a first date with someone, I do search their name because I want to see if anyone has shared anything about them. And there was an instance I went on a date with. He has not been brought up before. There was no problems with him. We're going to call him Dirt Bike. Man, so I went and searched his name before our first date, and the information I found about him was that he was flaky and he wouldn't follow through on dates and wouldn't follow through on dates. Yeah, like he would make a plan, he would make a plan. And then they would never go like that kind of thing, so official, and then just not show up, or that the girl would show up, or just they wouldn't have solid plans like they talk about it. And then the day would come, and it would never come to fruition or whatever. So that was a feedback that he had gotten on the group, but I went on the date anyway. Because up until that point, I felt like he was being very intentional with me and was communicating regularly with me. And he did talk about the date that morning. And then I didn't feel any certain way. So, and then even after the date, he continued to pursue me. So it wasn't like he was ghosting and things like that. Ultimately, it just fizzled out. We weren't really feeling each other, and that's fine. But if I had listened to the Facebook group, I could have missed out on something because I could have just written him off. And it goes to show that one person's experience may not be yours. So yeah. But I mean, it's very petty on there, and you have to admit that you read a lot of those. All of it is petty Wilkie. Okay. Well, I'm not so sure about that. Well, here's some positive reasons for the group, okay? Let's hear it. Men who become angry or aggressive or are narcissists or abusive or have been arrested or are violent, those come to fruition on these pages. And women are finding out about it on the pages. But it couldn't just be maybe an exes making up some story about them when you have multiple women talking about a man who's going around his city sharing STDs. You think multiple women are lying about that. I don't know if Dirt Bike Man had comments about him having STDs. I wouldn't have gone on the date with them. I would have got a free meal out of them. Anyways, that's not what it's about for me. Some women, maybe that's not what it's about for me. But that's why you take things with a grain of salt. And that's why I also think the Facebook group is good, because it can really protect women well. I mean, I'm all for that. I want women to feel protected. If I have an encounter with a man and he roofies me, I'm going to put that on that group so that some other woman is not subject to that as well. Or, even not going out on a date with him. If you see him out and about somewhere, take your drink with you. Things like that. Take your drink with your drink with you. Nobody wants to be roofied with these groups. I think too much of it is bad. I think they should do something else with it. I honestly do. I don't see how a woman could find it to be a positive, some tool even, and dating. But can you imagine the backlash there would be? Yeah. I know that would not be cool exactly, but we live in a world of double standards. I do know that absolutely. It's so wrong. I mean, I even said, though, the war bug guy, one of the nicest dudes you'll ever meet, one of the greatest guys, Malibu. He may have had a past. He's been posted multiple times. It makes me wonder, how he is with women dating. All he's doing is dating, and girls get upset because that he doesn't want to pursue anymore. Because truth be told, he probably wants to be with the one girl. They ain't going to be with him, okay? So then maybe that's a reflection of him and things that he needs to work on and to go on date. No when he wants to end something to just be like, hey, I'm not feeling this, yes, and he does, and they still post. Oh, he led me on to believe I was going to be more than that. The whole, you can always find something wrong, remember. It's her narrative. Of course. It's her point of view. There's versions of me out there where people just think he's a bad guy. There's a listener that thinks I'm a bad guy and told you that. So again, the point is that you are a bad guy. I would agree with that listener that you are angry. But that's one situation generally. I'm a happy guy. I'm a nice guy. I'm a good guy. I generally believe all those things because I am who I am, and I know how I live my life by standards. And yeah, I'm angry about my divorce. I've always been angry about it. If I had my daughter, as much as I wanted to have her believe me, I wouldn't be angry at all because I'm happy as I can be when I'm with that little girl. Would you be angry if someone posted you on this? Because here's the thing, what are they going to say about me? I don't know, but I tell a girl if it ain't gonna work out, ain't gonna work out. One of the reasons, one of the rules is to not screenshot and share it with the guy who is being posted. It's for safety of the woman who posted him, because there have been instances, and we've seen it in the group as well, where the man figures out who posted it, because even if the woman posted anonymously, which is a thing you can do, but the comments can be anonymous. So you're getting information about the actual people who are saying it regardless. But a man can figure out who posted it sometimes. And then in the group, we find out they've been aggressive towards her after the fact, like, how dare you, why'd you do that? And like, cause problems, and you know, champion. This I would love to be, I want to know what people it's not. Here's the thing. It's like great, because then you can get like feedback on your dating. Okay. I need to be better this way. When Mark found out he was on, you made a post, no. I want to be an authentic thing. It's not always negative. So a lot of women will use the group before they either go on a date, or maybe they've been on a couple dates. They'll just put a picture in the group and say, does anybody have any tea or any information on this guy? No, I get that. I don't use the group that way. That's not how I use it. Respond. So here's how I use the group. Obviously, I already talked about before a date. I will search it to see if a man has been posted. If I see someone that I've had any sort of experience with, be it dating, be it a past relationship, be it a coworker, someone who lives in town, I will give my experience with them positive or negative, and most of the times when that's happened, I would say a lot of them are positive, like, oh, yeah, I know that guy, like, he's a sweetheart, like, definitely, like, green flags, like, go for, like, try it out, like. And then I say I don't know him to be as a relationship or anything like that, but as a human being, like, he's good guy, okay. Yeah, because here's the thing, but this is why it's cool for the guy, like, Mark got great feedback, Mark got great feet. No, it wasn't no listen. I'm gonna say you're already thinking. It's something else, no. He got great feedback. He found out the girls that, like, literally he had notes, like, didn't want to be with, or there's no future with, cut it off, quickly done with, snippet right at the end, be done with it. He got feedback on how these girls are viewing him and how they're angry after he stops talking to them, anyone that he went on dates with or he was hanging out with or anything like that. I don't think they post him. I don't know his whole history on this, but like when he was telling me he was getting on, because again, there's multiple girls telling him he's on there. To me, it's weird if you're just talking to a man and you never go on a date and then post it like that. Doesn't even make sense to me unless he's ghosted me. He goes unless he's like sending you inappropriate like pictures or things like that, or making threats towards you. Like there's no reason to be posting. That's because some girls get butthurt over the fact that a guy doesn't want, because girls are live in a world where they don't want to be rejected at all. And when they get rejected because of the 3s and the 4s on these dating sites think they're pens. Let's be honest here. Well, I think the same goes for guys to quit honestly. You make a profile of a guy on a dating site and see how many responses you get. Make it with any girl at 2 or 3 can put something on there and she's going to get hundreds of messages. Maybe I know a friend who doesn't get a lot of matches, period. Well, I think I know who you're talking about. And I don't believe her. For one, I've seen her Tinder. You've seen her Tinder. Yeah, she's on Tinder. Yeah, come on, what does that mean? How many valuable dates have you gotten off Tinder? Well, at this point, I'd say none, because I'm single, right? How many Tinder dates have you found on this? Are we dating the same? Guy Tinder has a negative connotation. I don't think it does anymore, though. Really? I've never been on Tinder. I never would be on time. I don't think it's the same as it was. I met up boy on Tinder, we were, but here's the thing, like the guy wonder why the guys on Tinder are the same guys on Hinge who are the same guys on Bumble. So, does it really matter? No, it doesn't. They're all on all of them. It's how it is, yeah. I get it. But let's go back to the Facebook group. So I talked about how I use it before first date. I always comment on anybody that I see that I have any sort of experience with. And the other way I use it is I will post a man after things have ended if it ended negatively. I know when you're talking about there's two. Yeah, I've posted 2 men on their Kirby, so yeah. So Kirby was the first one that I posted, and fake trucker, yes. But let's go into Kirby. It's 'cause there's a story with Kirby. Let's go Kirby. So I posted Kirby on there because, we were to a point where we talked about, hey, like let's not see other people and let's see where the summer takes us and how things play out. Like that's the conversation. We were not seeing other people. So to me, it's not super serious, but like you're dating with intent with that person without other people involved. Okay. So then which by the way, ladies, don't ever do that. What? If a guy says, hey, let's not date other people, but we're not going to be exclusive, no. That's exclusivity. That way, that was me saying, let's take the summer to get to know each other. Before we put a label on it, that was me, I'm sorry, mistake. Well, he was the one who told me after that conversation, he was like, I'm ready to call you my girlfriend right now. No, he wasn't. That's what he said. But no, he wasn't, because if you are, then you do it well. Would you have been his girlfriend? No, because I told him I wasn't ready for that. We had only been talking for like a few weeks. But when you're exclusive with somebody, you need to be exclusive with them. You need time to figure that out. I'm not going to get exclusive with somebody in 2 or 3 weeks. Am I going to stop dating? And seeing other people for 8 weeks before I label it. Yeah, 6-8 weeks. I think that's fair. So anyway, I posted Kirby because again we had that conversation, we were seeing each other exclusively. But we didn't quite have a label yet. And I went away on a business trip for a week, and his communication really changed when I was gone, and I knew he had some life things that were happening fast forward, and he ultimately was ghosting me again. This was if you've been following along the podcast. You know we had a situation like 3 years ago, and I made the mistake of hanging out with him again anyway. So he ghosted me again, and eventually he did respond and was like, I'm sorry. He's like, I don't want to get you caught up on all my stuff, blah. And I'm like, well, you could be a man and just tell me that instead of ghosting me for 4 days when we went for talking every single day to not at all. So I posted him and was like, hey, here's the situation. And he also has some red flags about him that I was kind of trying to overlook. Or maybe I see how he managed those red flags because he was honest with them. I knew about them and he was working on them. So I don't want to get into the specifics of it, but I went ahead and posted him, and then boom, the Facebook group blew up. I think we had like 80 comments when it was all said and done. There were women who jumped in who were like friends of other women who he had dated in the past. And the big one was one of his more recent ex-girlfriends from like a year prior. She jumped in, and she ended up sending me a private message. And we chatted out like a lot, needless to say, dodged a bullet. All the women who piped in about him talked about how he was abusive physically, emotionally, mentally. They said he was a narcissist. I had a different experience with a narcissist, and things he was doing didn't feel like narcissism to me yet. It only been a short term, I understand, that takes time sometimes that you to rear its ugly head into drugs. Had a lot of issues. I knew about some issues with baby mama, but his reasoning for them, and he created them all on his own, but the big one was the abusiveness. And had I not posted him, I didn't post until after the fact. But I dodged a bullet. And I hope that other women, because he's actively dating. I think he is anyway, I don't know. I did see him shortly after on the apps again, but hopefully it helps other women to know that he was abusive not just with one person's story, but with like multiple women, right? Well, a guy like that, yeah. Cheating, they talked about cheating in the comments, well, before you talk about fake trucker, the second one, yeah. I just got a real-time text message. Oh boy, from my buddy Mark. I said, hey, so Malibu, you're going to be mentioned on a podcast. Are we dating the same guy? He put the LMAO, which stands for whatever was great publicity, only increases your stock. That is exact, because he even said once he was posted on there, more girls want to talk to him, see? So there's this whole, I like a bad boy situation. But if I know you're a jerk, so here's an example. Do you remember there was that wrestler guy? Talking about out there in his profile. He made a comment about how women are fake and they don't put in the effort and stuff. And so when we were talking, he just stop responding, and after a day or two, no, please don't. I was like, listen, if you're complaining about women who aren't responding, and who you are, you can't even respond either. So why don't you grow up? Basically, I don't remember the exact details about it. I've heard this from you are. Calling the what do you call in the kettle black, right? Something like that. Yeah. I was like, you're doing exactly what you don't want women to do, so grow up. And he immediately unblocked or blocked me, which I'm not surprised anyway. Of course, he's in the group, often right, Eddie is, and he's in there for being abusive, yes, mentally, physically. I believe no. Pretty sure he wouldn't do that. Well, he's not a good guy dating-wise, but he's not like that. I know for a fact. He's not. Maybe it was mental. I would have to go back and look, but he's been posted negatively as my point with multiple women. He's got an acquired taste. I don't really like him that much, I'll be honest with you, but he knows that I don't like him. But yeah, I think your exact words were don't talk to him, yes. Yeah, but because he is who he is. But you want to know what though? I know gets good publicity for that, 'cause same girls, he had some bad publicity. Oh, I know he did. But I recently spoke to him because there's a project I'm working on that I needed to talk to him about. And he brought that up, and we talked about it so he knows Not he knows he's on there, and it increased his stock, is all of a sudden more girls want to talk to him, and he knew about it, took his girls, told him. I actually pulled him up right now from a post from a couple months ago, has 55 comments. I'm just going to read a couple. He's been posted on all the apps. He's been on all the apps for 9 years now. He's been hitting me up constantly. I block his number, and then he messages me on social media. He seemed okay. I did not like how he spoke to me. He's very weird to me. I had a friend meet up with him, and he's consistently broke, had nothing in his fridge, and kept clothes in the freezer. To cool them off, wouldn't stop talking about his wrestling career run. Now dude has been on so many pages. It's like a carnival run the other way. I thought he was married, run for your life, run his family. Have been friends of mine for a long time. He's a good guy, legitimately would bet my life. He's into men. I've known him since high school. I'm cool with him still to this day. He's always been polite and respectful. So that's why you have to make your own judgment about it. I don't know to me. There's nothing. I guess it wasn't abusive, but to me there's nothing where I'd feel unsafe. I guess like you want to talk about your wrestling career nonstop, and you want to put clothes in your freezer. Listen, he has been posted several times, right? Because he dates a lot of girls, and a lot of girls get butthurt over not wanting to know him, not wanting to be with him long term. Because he doesn't want, he likes it, he's a serial dater. I think so, and I mean my boy Malibu, I'll tell you this right now, the idea of the girl he wants. He's never going to find again. I mean, he had the perfect girl, and he lost her, and I love Mark. He's like a brother to me, and I can tell you this right now, he's trying to date to find that exact girl. So when he's dating out there, when a girl shows something that either not like him, then there's an issue there. You know what I mean? And he's never going to make it work with somebody who's not perfect of what he wants right now, right? Well, like I said, not everything on the group is negative. People do talk positively about people on there. So if he is a good guy, I would hope that the women who are sharing with him, hey, you're on here, I hope they're piping up on his behalf and saying, hey, he's a good guy. Well, yeah, it usually comes with, and again, I'm going back a while from when he showed me these messages, and hey, listen, you were posted on here, this is what I said. It's that kind of gimmick, even a girl that was married is on there. No, that's not it. So here's another example of when I posted someone onto the group. This is Fake Trucker. So he doesn't have a CDL, by the way, guys. He doesn't even have his Class B. I thought he did it. Well, you're right, like a truck driver, but they drove like a box truck. There's a box truck. So all my boys out there who are listening right now, we called him Fake Trucker episodes ago. I was looking for a truck driver. He wasn't it. No, I need a class of please anyway house road. So I had started talking to this guy. We had gone on a pretty low value date, and I really wasn't feeling it after that date. So then he was really adamant that he wanted to see me again, and I was like, well, I guess I'll try one more time and see if I have a different feeling towards it. And we literally the next morning grabbed coffee together. Again, another low value situation. This part of the story is important, okay? So fast forward a few days again after the second day with the coffee. I still wasn't feeling it, so fast forward a few days, and on my Kirby post, I got a message from a girl saying, hey, can you send me a message quick? So wait a minute. I thought when you told me that story, I thought it was the other way around. So no. Okay, so a girl messaged me on that post about Kirby. It wasn't even like a post where I had posted Freight Trucker or anything. She see whatever reason, and these instances were probably 6 weeks apart. And so I messaged her, I was like, hey, what's up? And I was like, do you need to know something about Kirby or what? And she's like, no. Are you dating a guy named Fake Trucker? And I was like, I'm not dating him. We went out on a couple dates, but I wasn't feeling it. But what's up? Also, how did you find me? I love a girlie who can investigate. Seriously, how did she find me? Fast forward, she tells me that she was actually reaching out to me on behalf of a friend speaking with her, and I said, oh, absolutely, let me talk to her. So I ended up talking to her to find out it was his fiancée. They were engaged, they were living together. I knew they had a son together. There were red flags in our couple of times that we had hung out, and then and again, I wasn't feeling him anyway. But again, the conversation I had with her talked about how he was abusive towards her, and it's not the first time she has caught him cheating. However, This is the first time she actually was able to talk to somebody about him like, yes, he is on Tinder. Yeah, I shared a screenshot of his Tinder profile with her like, it was the first time she had concrete evidence to back it up, and how did she find out my name? So when we went to coffee, I had ordered our Starbucks on the app, and if you know anything about ordering on the app, they put a sticker on your cup, and it has your name on it because it's through the app, and so it had my first and last name on it. So not only like it was the whatever about all the negative things, he was also lazy and left a cup on the counter for 2 days emptied. That's yes. So anyway, let me tell you this right now, guys. Don't cheat. If you do cheat, don't leave a cup up there with a girl's name. I honestly wonder if that guy wanted to get caught because it doesn't hear is what he wanted. They were getting ready. She owned the house that they lived in, and she ultimately had to sell it because he couldn't hold down a job and he couldn't help pay the bills, and she could no longer afford it. I understand. So, yep, she was selling the house, and she was moving in with her mother for like a month or so, right until she reestablished herself. And the fiancé was not welcome at the mother's house because they don't like him because there's problems, right? So he needed a place to live, and she's like, that's exactly what he's looking for right now. He's trying to find someone that he can live with, which checks out because he was very pushy about he always wanted to come to my house or get an invitation over. And I was like, he was very pushy, yeah. He was, and I'm like, well, first of all, I'm not that type of girl, so no. And also he was asking these things when we would go out, like the couple times we went out, we were closer to his house than we were mine. I was like, why doesn't he just try to invite me over? Not that I'm going to go, but why is he pushing to go to my house, which is a half hour away when his house is 10 minutes away, right? You know, so that was like one of the red flags that I had with him.